beautiful morning to you once again. This is Issues at Hand. My name is Luke Majumba Naito. I want to welcome you yet to this interesting episode of Issues at Hand. I hope you had a wonderful time in Good Morning Family with Hope Nyongereza and I, Luke Majumba Naito. Here, we're always powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe, a very wonderful place you'd want to be to. Please, always, specifically, if you want any service when it comes to hotel and sort of, please, you have to reach out to Protea Hotel by Marriott in Entebbe. The numbers are just down there below the screens. You can want to contact them and, of course, do the booking and reservations for any kind of service you'd want to really get yourself into. Anything to do with foods, they are perfect. And actually more perfect when it comes to that, and the African dishes are very, very nice there. So today it is quite an interesting day, and we are going to be discussing a shared journey of reviving the family's pride, or a family pride. So, and it is not me who's going to bring in the aspect of this discussion. I have two important guests that I'm going to be introducing to you, and with me here just close to me is Sergeant Mwanga Stephen, and of course he's going to tell us more about himself. So good morning, sir, and please greet our viewer out there.
Yes, good morning, Luke. Thank you very much. Family TV, thank you. Our beloved viewers, thank you for this morning. We have a very good package that we are going to share today. Won't remain the same as far as the marriage institution and our family are concerned. Okay, and we have Mr. Police Constable Fredrick there with us, Wakolera. Please do greet us.
Good morning, viewers. Once again, I'm Wakolera Fredrick. I serve in the institution of Uganda Police Force, and I'm proud of this opportunity for sharing time with Family TV. And really, I'm glad to share this moment in reviving our family and the society.
Okay. Yeah. Very interesting. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So just like I shared, the topic of the day is a shared journey of reviving the family pride. So I want to first point out to Sergeant Mwanga, why specifically do you target the issue of reviving family?
Thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much for that pertinent question. That is timely. The marriage institution, the family institution. Of course, we shall focus our discussion today in the two ingredients that make up the family. Okay. That is the marriage and parenting. Of course, that's the bedrock of a family. Without those two ingredients, then the family can't stand. Why the family? Why the marriage institution, and why parenting? Every human being is a product of the marriage institution. Regardless of what type of marriage, we are all products of the marriage institution. So, when the marriage institution is messed up, we stagger. We have issues morally, ethically, and at the end of the day, it catches us up. So, it's incumbent upon us to join hands and revive the marriage institution, because it defines what we stand for as human beings and humanity.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Mr. Wakolera, how can we redefine or revive the concept of a family and its pride in today's society?
Thank you. We can redefine the concept of our family and development of a family, one by forming up the family structures, especially knowing the respect and the roles of each individual in the family. Now I'll give you the setup of families. One family can be made of a nuclear family, can be extended. Nowadays we have foster families, and then we have different roles. One of the roles that make up a family and keep family moving is that we have the role of father as the head, the mother, and the children. So we thank God that when He created Adam and Eve, He created with all responsibilities. And then also we need to redefine our family, and it is made up collectively. It must be a collective responsibility. It can be made up by individuals, knowing what role they play, institutions like government, We can also have other stakeholders, even the community itself. Those have different roles they play in refining our family. Yes.
Okay. And now talking about the roles in the family, we've seen these days women have stepped up to also be the heads of the families. Is that a good move, or it has an impact in the long run?
It has a good move, especially in this era of ours. When we put into consideration of women emancipation, it comes to both parties, the father and the mother, in bring up the family. One, when it comes to work, this generation in our government has empowered women. It's women holding up big offices. And then you find also fathers also committed elsewhere to make the family survive. So, when it comes to family contribution, I agree that we must do collectively, bring them. Then also, we should not leave the responsibility to the schools. As a father and a mother, however much you are scratching here and there to get a living for them, you must engage them, giving examples of teaching them language, storytelling. Yes, when you have your family together or you go for school visit, storytelling is very, very fundamental. Then also teaching them diversity, teaching parents, children, to have boundaries from childhood. You see, generation now we're having, you find children are not having morals. They don't respect elders. So it is our responsibility, both parents, to have time for our children, know what they do, know the people they associate with at every stage of life. So I call upon the society that, especially the fathers, grooming the family should not be left to only the mothers. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Very interesting. And now, currently, we have seen issues where mostly parents, like he has mentioned, parents are now not available. They are making money for the families, and that means they are not creating time for their children. Like he mentions of storytelling and all those things. Children these days do not have time to interface with their parents. How challenging could this be?
Yeah, it's very challenging. It's very challenging, really. That's why we have to go back to the basics. It's very challenging because first our education system prepares us to address the economic and the political aspects, neglecting the social dimension, which is very paramount. We are moving up and down, trying to address the economic aspect, not knowing that even the economic aspect we are paying attention to. You are neglecting that boy, you are neglecting that girl, you are not giving them attention. At the end of the day, they will be educated and learned, but they have integrity issues. That's how it will catch up with us. Okay. So we need to go back to the basics. How do we balance the boat, if I can use that word? How do we balance the economic aspect, but without missing and losing up on the nurturing? Because that is the future of the child. He's going to be educated. Fine. Tomorrow he will ditch his hand in the national coffers. He will ditch his hand because he's not morally upright. He will even steal your own money that you have spent a lot of time gathering. The assets you are accumulating, and you are not giving time to your children to nurture them as responsible citizens that are morally upright, that have values, that are well nurtured. At the end of the day, even when you accumulate that well, let's say, at the end of the day, it will be put to the waste. So we must go back to the basics and try to talk to our family members, have meetings. Like the president always has state of the national address, as somebody said. We need to have also state of our family addresses. Okay. Yeah? We need to talk to each other. We need to talk to each other. It can be in the late hours when we've come back. It can be in holidays. I normally do it whenever it's holidays. I make sure I call my children. I make sure I inform them. Please, guys, we are going tonight immediately after supper. Let's prepare a bit early. After supper, we have an abrupt meeting, and we even discuss on which topic, because I don't want to be a one-man show. I don't want dominance. As my colleague has said, it should be collective effort. Sometimes we generate a consensus on which topic we can discuss. It strengthens our bond. It strengthens our bond and the love and the passion. So it creates a platform for you to tell them the do's, the don'ts, but also to listen from them. Because we don't need to impose them. Those are youngsters. Those are intellectuals. Sometimes they are much more informed than the parents.
Yes.
I can tell you, my brother, I have a very young girl, but she doesn't have a smartphone. But whenever I have issues with my smartphone, she gets it and solves the problem. Are you seeing the generation we are dealing with?
Yes.
We must bring them on board. If we don't bring them on board, they will sit on their back. They have the information, they have the knowledge, actually they even see what you don't see. And now at the end of the day, it will catch up with us.
Wow.
We need a collective effort in as far as reviving our family institution is concerned.
Okay.
Then also, to build on my brother's point, you see, family is really a tricky moment in the district where we are. When you look at the social behaviors, the economic strata we are moving in, when it comes to strengthening our families, really it's a long journey. One, for those who are working, especially here, the Family TV, I know they encourage the policy of work-life balance. Yeah, we need work-life balance, where employees need to give an opportunity to employees. Employer to give an opportunity to employees to let their employers to have time with the families, to know what they are doing, to engage in different activities. So when you go back home, as parents, you need to engage yourself in practicing some different activities at home. If the mother is cleaning, washing, if father, you can try to clean the chairs, organize the sitting room. Really, we must be models of our families. So when you practice and participate in home activities, the younger generation, Abaganda, they say, emite mito, jejikole chibira. So when children in our families learn how the mother and the father coordinate activities at home, involve themselves in different activities within a home, really they learn, and really this one can strengthen family. And that children which are emulating by practice, by modeling, they're the people who will be the fathers tomorrow. Yes. Okay.
And maybe so, as we continue the discussion, what could be the challenges that are hindering these families specifically when we talk of unity or bondage in there?
Yes. We really have a lot of challenges in life, but regardless we move. You know, Psalms 127 verse 3, they say the heritage of the family, the children, and is a gift from God. One of the challenges we are facing to strengthen our family, or the pride, to bring out the pride of our family, is that stress. Yeah. Stress is mainly derived from work. It can be financial stress, when someone is economically depressed, waking up early in the morning at 4, going in the street hustling, and then he comes back with a penny. So really it challenges to set up or to strengthen our families. Then one of the unfortunate things is loss of our beloved ones, especially when either of the parties die, children or father or mother. It challenges the family to grow up in the strength. Reason being, it causes grief. You know, people are ending up going into trauma. People are ending up gaining antisocial behaviors. Children, you see, they become a menace in the village. So losing a beloved one, it's one of the challenges. Then another challenge which we are facing as a families in different societies is that drug addiction, regardless of the social status. Yeah, it is a really great challenge that since us parents are not giving time to our children to know whom they are shared with, what they do, you find others go in the group of drug addiction, taking alcohol at a tender age, taking marijuana, cannabis. So really we need to have close engagement with our parents. Yes, those are some of the few things I can elaborate.
All right, thank you so much. And now, Sergeant Mwanga, what do you think could be some of the solutions to the aligned challenges that Mwanga has highlighted?
Yeah, part of the solutions, a moment I can highlight two more challenges.
Oh, yes,
so I give solutions. Another challenge, some other challenges are success related. When there's development, of course, development comes with some challenges. For example, the affirmative action of the girl child. Thank you, this government, for what it has done. Thank you, the NGOs and civil society organizations. Thank you, really, our communities for making that dream a reality. But it has also caused an imbalance.
Oh, yeah.
We have empowered the girl child, and I feel the girl child is empowered, but it has created an imbalance because there was social construction of the male dominance fostered by our culture. Okay. It is still alive and kicking, and when a woman gets empowered, probably earns even more than the man. The man feels insecure. And it becomes a threat. Those are challenges that are related to success now.
Yes.
But we have failed to prepare our boy child to learning how to live with an empowered woman. So that is an issue. Now, part of the solution is we need now to balance the game. Okay. As we empower the girl child, can we also try to empower the boy child, but also nurture them in a manner that it's normal. It's normal. You can earn more than your spouse, but remain loving, remain respecting, and remain cherishing the marriage institution.
Actually, yes. Even the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda is among the people who fight for the boys' rights, because
exactly.
Apparently this fight has seen girls move so fast than the boys.
Exactly.
And he always poses a question: who is going to marry those girls?
Exactly.
These boys being left behind. So I think it is quite a challenge, as just like you mentioned.
Yeah. So that is it. Part of the solutions is really, holistically, we need to go back to the basics. We need the content, because we understand our culture better. We understand each other better. That's why what I didn't tell you about is we are equally authors. I'm a writer and an author. We also had a book about the marriage institution. Wow. We are not here to read from the book of Lamentations. I thank the Archbishop Real. He has headed empowering the boy child. But I can tell you this book has a lot that can help address some of the challenges that we face in our day-to-day, brought up especially by modernization. As my colleague talked about the issue of drug addiction, it is very serious. And if we can go back to the basics as parents, it will help us even to know the behavior a child is, because now we have relegated everything now to schools. So you can't know when a boy or a girl has developed some queer behaviors. Now, these family meetings, especially every whole day, if we can cause family meetings, we can be able to predict an unbecoming behavior and try to deal with it in its infancy stage. Because we are avoiding a situation where now it is firefighting. It is too late. The person has reached addiction levels, and it is too late. It has gone out of hand. Let's keep talking to each other as families. Let's keep praying together. It helps us guard from this that would be the bad actions and bad behaviors.
Wow.
To continue on my brother's point, how do we encounter such challenges? One, as parents, you need to be the role model at home. Role model, it means talking to each other, and then also practicing the positive behavior in the homes, where either your wife, children, or even a husband can learn. So by being a model, you really make sure that psychologically you win out the behaviors which are unwanted. Two, in this current era of ours, you find the parents, when they are trying to model our children, they use some sarcastic words. You abuse a child where he's not behaving well. But for me, I encourage that to encounter challenges before children run away from us as parents, you need to use the approach of positive reinforcement. Where a kid performs poorly, you encourage that, my son, my daughter, this one you can do it better. You can improve on it. I know next time you make 100%. Other than using negative reinforcement, you use a kid and you win out, you by beating, by abusing. Really, that language can make even children to distance.
But beating used to work.
It used to work, but because of the stress we go through in the different virtues of life, you find that all the anger is done on the children. Okay. So by calming your mind, and it can help you to air out that positive reinforcement. Then also, in this era where women are working, and I think the government has boosted them by giving them support, you find they are engaged in different levels of leadership at the national level. At the university, like where we exercise our duties, you find the level of the number of females at the majority at the campuses. So leaving a gap in men. So, but here, as we are creating solutions to our family challenges, we need to know the boundaries. As long as you decided to go with Wakolera Fredrick in marriage, official marriage, however much you have higher levels of education than me, really when it comes to home, we need to know our boundaries. You find one gender focusing on their career more than giving attention to family. So this one alone, it can make family to get distance from each other. You find there is no connection, there is no bond. You leave early in the morning, you come back focusing on what you are going to do next at work, not giving it time to your people. Then also, we need to respect diversity. In this current generation, people move. You find you're in a long distance relationship. And then also, in diversity, you find people are intermarried. You find the Musoga marrying a Muganda, Mnyankore marrying a Musoga. So, that intermarriage, you must learn the norms of different cultures. Then also, on the same point, when you understand the culture, the modeling, how your partner was brought up, then you find a way of imparting that positive knowledge to the children. Because remember, the children, they are the future generation. They are the fathers tomorrow. So, when there is an intermarriage, there must be diverse respect in diversity. Yes. You can take on something good other than focusing on the bad side. Yes.
Okay. Can we talk about the role of tradition? Because you did talk about how modernization has impacted. What role does tradition play in shaping up these families?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much. Tradition plays a very important role in shaping marriages and the family institution. Actually, and I think, I feel going away from our traditional approach of doing things is the one probably that has made now, has acted as a threat to the marriage institution. There are certain beliefs that we had in our cultures and our tradition that kept us checked. In a tradition, we had belief that before I do an act, how will the society perceive it? This kind of belief could keep you from unpleasant behaviors. If I beat this woman, how how will the church see me? How will the community see me? How will my tribesmen see me? How will my in-laws hear of it? It kept us checked as we move. So really, tradition played an important role, though there were some also other bad cultural practices that used to bar our girl child from going to school. They were just treated as sex objects that we could trade out for sale in exchange of bread price. Of course, that was these are things that we need to revise. But cultural practices they are positive cultural practices that kept us checked. Whenever we would have issues, would call a family meeting, would call relatives on either sides. The wife's side, the husband's side, sit amicably and resolve issues. So really, I feel culture has a very big role that it can play in as far as addressing, revitalizing the marriage institution and the family. The African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child. It was every person's responsibility.
Okay.
So a child belonged to a community. A child belonged to a society. This helped each and every person to have an input in the upbringing of a responsible child.
Okay.
And I think those are the basics we need to go back to. We are just stuck in modernization. And of course, the children, as other speakers have always said, they have now more rights than the parents, probably. I think we need to go back to the basics and try to balance. Thank you.
Now, do you think that can still work, of the community raising a child? Because right now, if you dare talk about neighbor's child, there is a challenge, there is a problem. So do you think that can still work really?
You see, the challenge is that in this modernity, people have transformed how African tradition was. Now the challenge you are having is individualism.
All right. Yeah.
Where things is all about me. So that becomes a barrier on how African tradition was in setting families. But when you go back and embrace how our traditions was, that first of all, a child was for community. And indeed, even now, children are set for communities. As long as we balance the level of being individualistic and also being together, that one can also make to build up the society. We can do blended. For example, in African traditions, there was different roles done to grow up our children. There was a role of uncle, where I was mentoring a child, a boy child, to be a father. Then there was a role of auntie, which was modeling a girl child to become a mother. Then also, there was a role of a grandmother, either side, maternal or paternal, whereby they were doing collective responsibility in modeling. They could practice to win out those behavior, which either could be genetical or the behaviors which are done in society. So, by taking a child from one area to another, where there is uncle, auntie, could help to limit on, maybe they could have behaviors inculcated in the setup where he or she lives. So, really, the tradition had that impact. Then also, there is a tradition behavior which was, and really need to go back to that, the watch, the neighborhood watch. It is normally used in the forces here, but also in the community. As a neighbor, you need to know the neighbor's child is doing. Because when you look at such behavior, maybe which is not needed, and then you look at the kid doing it at the first age, the third age, 10 years doing the same, then you are not contributing to the development of that kid, especially in the morals. So the neighborhood watch is very, very good tradition, whereby living out, even really neighbor could even get some cane and really win out such behavior. So, but in this current situation, You beat someone's kid, you held accountable by the laws. So really, we need to embrace. Also, the person watching the kid of your neighbor putting an eye. You should also understand the health of children. Then, the tradition which you used to have is the storytelling. Our emphasis on that, because that's how our grants used to tell us to extract knowledge from them and impart it to us. They bring you a riddle. Initially, before this transformation of these modern stoves, a kid would not be allowed to sit on those times where we used to put our kettles and saucepans to cook.
Yes.
They would tell you that you develop elephantiasis, you know. So by telling such a story would threaten someone, oh, there's a possibility of becoming sick. But yet, initially it was intended to preserve the morals of our society. So yes, the discipline. Then also the tradition must be preserved and boosted. Nowadays, yes, we embrace technology, but at some point, technology is not enough. As in our tradition is, we used to teach children language and discipline of a culture.
Okay.
So it's very, very vital. Amidst learning on TV, on social media, we need to go back and have that time of tradition. Teach your kid language. There's social media which will teach you the proverb, the riddles to our children, which make up a family.
Wow, thank
Yes,
you.
yeah.
Really, really important insights here being given. You could wonder, by the way, these men in uniform, how comes they know all these things? Yes, they are also a part of this society. You should be knowing that. Well, we are continuing with this discussion, but going in for a very short break and return with more.
Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. This is Church of Uganda Family TV, enriching lives. Issues at Hand, powered by
Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Comfort and luxury at its best.
Welcome back. You are still tuned to Church of Uganda Family TV, and this is Issues at Hand. We are discussing very, very important issues, a journey of reviving the family's pride. And this calls for people who are very, very good in this area, which is why here with me is Sergeant Mwanga Stephen and Police Constable Fredrick Wakolera. We are powered by Protea Hotel by Marriott Entebbe. Please do call them in case you want any services related to hotels. So here with me, my guests, I want to now pose a question. We have been having a wonderful discussion. If you happen to miss the first segment, please run to YouTube, get that link and revisit. There is important information you would want to make use of. So my question to you now, Sergeant, is I'm now looking at an extended family. It has generational, different generations. You find there's a grandmother, there's their dads, uncles, and whatever. Then there are children, also even grandchildren. So, and how can we address challenges, or how can we address generational differences in families? Because you'll find currently a child is not respecting the uncle because maybe the father and the uncle are not in good terms, so they also shift their issues to the children. How do we address such issues in relation to the shared journey of reviving the family's pride?
Yeah, it's about mutual respect and of course communication. It's about communication. Once there's a communication gap, now every generation will see itself in its own capacity, with its own skills, with its own capabilities. At the end of the day, they will end up abusing the generational differences. So if we revive the communication is a very important tool that can bring us on board, and we forge a mutual working relationship and respect for one another. I'll borrow words from the scriptures. Joseph, the biblical Joseph. Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. This was how the birth of Jesus Christ took place. His mother Mary was engaged to Joseph, but before they were married, she found out that she was going to have a baby. Now, we also see that Joseph was a man who always did what was right, but did not want to disgrace Mary publicly. Now, when we have a generation of this information technology, you have a smartphone, something small has happened at home, you send it, it goes viral, you are killing. So, there's some excitement because the generation that has just learned that there is WhatsApp, there is call other platforms, TikTok. We can't run marriages, we can't run families by going viral. Joseph being an icon of the marriage institution, the Bible tells us he did not go publicly on what had happened to Mary. If it was probably our today's generation, it would be at City Square. That my wife has got a pregnancy that I can't explain. Now, we are letting it to the world. Now you are at the liberty, the whole world will discuss it, they will add whatever they will add, they will even guide you on what to do. We can go back to the basics. We can appreciate modernization, we can appreciate our generational differences, by talking to each other through communication, knowing what is it that it is supposed to go on the social media, what is it that you reserve without washing your dirty linen in the public and sending it to the public. There are some marriages that just have been broken and there were chances of reconciling, but because they have gone viral, it has gone viral, it is everywhere. So every time they keep asking you updates. How far? We have seen how with somebody. What is your take? And now you're also very ready to address every question related to a marriage. We can really treat our institution, the institution of marriage and our family with sanctity. We can protect it. Please avoid going to the social media. Okay. Our generational differences, it's all about mutual respect. It's all about communication to each other and knowing and avoiding washing our dirty linen in the public.
A moderator, to add on that point, how to address generation differences. One of them is that we must know the boundaries as people. The boundary of being a family, a father, a mother, and the children. You find social media seems to be the weighing scale of everything in this generation. When one is in success, tomorrow you find it in social media. When someone is in depression, you find it in social media, posting on the status, which is not good. But to address that and engaging that we need to go back to the morals. Create boundaries for yourself. If you're in depression or in success with excitement, please, you need to limit on how you engage social media. Okay. 2, we must really seek for counseling, especially when this generation or the younger generation, the Z generation, is running out of hands like parents. You can seek for external support. You go to professional counselors and seek for guidance. If the problem is drug addiction, you go to rehabilitation center. They're there, caregivers, they're available. So we need to address that in such a manner. Then also carrying out learning opportunities. For example, take your children to learning centers, carry out family tours to different environment, which a kid can be able to learn. In doing it, you are creating a bond between the children within the family and also the other party, regardless of gender. We learn, someone did and this and this. So someone controls a behavior. Okay. Yes.
What impact does technology have on families?
Technology has both the positive and the negative contribution. But as we are growing in this era, we need to embrace technology to a large extent. Okay. One of the contribution technology has done to really to elevate our families to be in togetherness. One is the generation of use of different applications. For example, you can be working in Igulu, you're working in another part of Uganda, but yet your family is settled different somewhere else. By the virtue of the new technology, you can carry out to video calls. You engage your family in video calling, putting up Zoom, example app like Zoom, Google Meet. You chat with your family online. That's one. 2, technology has created a room for learning. Yes, during the time of lockdown, I used to watch family TV. Could carry out learning sessions for young children during primary, secondary. They could invite teachers, and really you see there is a great contribution of technology. If it wasn't that, where would I have done to keep our children active in the books? So it's really encouraging. Technology in regard to social media, yes, if well controlled, social media also has a great impact in people learning. Especially the young adults have learned many business ideas through social media. So this one really creates a great impact of getting new ideas and increasing the levels of creativity. And then also, social media has been, technology has been used to preach the gospel of keeping the family together. I'll give an example of the session we are having right now. If it isn't TV, family TV, where would we be preaching the world which is watching us? So really, technology has a great impact. Without limit, there could be a negative part of it, but with the limitation and guidance, really technology has a great impact in our families.
Okay. So how can we celebrate a family heritage in our societies, and then put it in a sense that we are protecting the values and norms of our families?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we can celebrate. We can celebrate the uncelebrated heroes, in the, especially in the marriage institution. I think we need some also other affirmative action. For example, this country has a very good culture of appreciating people who have exceptionally performed, but especially in the political and maybe in the economic. I think it's time we begin arraigning people who have made it in the marriage institution for medals.
Wow.
Yes, people should be given medals. It motivates. Should be given, they can even categorize them into a patriotic medal category, into a Pan-Africanism medal category for excelling in the marriage institution. This one now, you will be imparting, preparing that young child. Say, hey, that means if you perform better in the marriage institution, there's a reward that awaits. Other than the kingdom of heaven, even the earth rewards you. So, people have made it in the marriage institution. We have success stories, but we need more motivating approaches in our communities. We can roll it out. We can start at the institution level. The recent law passed by the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, it is worth celebration. Celebrating. Of recently, I want to congratulate the series that have been going on of strong families, strong nations. The recent family festival that was held on the 29th of June 2024 in Kololo, and was graced by His Excellency, the President of this country. Those are good steps in the right direction. It should not end with that. Actually, I'm working it with my brother to make sure we now hold some semblance of that. We hold on the same date of 29th November, we also hold a marriage festival.
Marriage?
Yes, a marriage festival that will bring in even university students. Our first pilot will be Chambogo University. Bring on board, bring these students. They need to hear these stories. They need to hear success stories in the marriage institution, because that's why they are headed. We shall not bury our heads in the sand and pretend as if the marriage does not exist, but from nowhere you want her to get married to the right man, you have not done any effort. We must be intentional and deliberate. We expect a lot from people who are married, and we have less input. Exactly. So that marriage festival will be a very good platform that will bring in students, because those are the people we are training. They need to listen from, it will be actually addressing the generational issues. We can bring on board people who have made it in the marriage institution. We can bring on board people who have testimonies to give, both the positive, so that we pick lessons. When these young students are watching, we shall be now taking the right direction. Part of what will be exhibited will be this book, Insight into Passionate Marriage. We have a package. This is the local content. It's the local content. We can't expect a lot and we have no input. That's why I've told you we are not reading from the book of Lamentation. There's something we have, some good content, African content that understands our culture, understands our values, understands
the current
our
situation.
etiquettes, understands the modernization, because we are dealing with a modern marriage, a modern family. We are no longer in the ancient. How do we strike the balance, but keep going without killing the tradition, but without using the modernity for negativity? So that's how we can really move from here.
Then to add on points of my brother, how do we celebrate family? But who are the stakeholders in celebrating the family? I will break some few. One, it can be schools of learning, whether primary school, secondary, and high institutions of learning. what should we do there? We must teach the generation what is necessary, what is required, the discipline, the morals, the character. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the knowledge or wisdom. So we must preach that gospel. 2, the institutions like government, especially the legislators who enact his policies and regulations, can contribute much in setting up policies where we can celebrate our family, especially regarding in the African behaviors and morals, how we are set up. For example, the recent enactment of the law against the homosexuals and the gays. So really we can celebrate that. 3, the contribution of the parents and the guardians. Really, they do a great how we can celebrate family. One of the parents that can do and the guardian is carry your families, go for food tourism. If I'm coming from Western Uganda, try to move and see how Western Uganda cook eshabwe. If you are from Western, come to Central and find out people prepare luwombo. So you find that we can celebrate the family together, you know, by carrying out food tourism, you know. Storytelling also, psychologically, it contributes a lot. Whatever you tell the children, really they will celebrate it. In most cases, we can carry out art, music, dance, and drama, you know, when we are embracing within our culture, but also together with the family. So, celebrating it together, really with the culture, you know, you bring out the art of creating family bond in the music and the riddles and so on. So, really, it's a great impact. And really, that's the way, some of the ways we can celebrate our families. Yes.
Wow, thank you so much. Unfortunately, we are being cut short by time, but I would request you give us last remarks, but also briefly tell us about this book as we wind up.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you, Family TV. Thank you, the Uganda Police Force. Thank you, beloved viewers. Yeah, a closing remarks is, let's go back to the basics. Let's go back to the basics. And
family structures.
Let's involve God in the equation. When there's still a successful marriage, successful family, it's a God-fearing. Let's always pray together. But exercise restraint in our actions. We should avoid making decisions that will finish us. Exercise restraint, but also accept some degree of compromise. There are certain decisions you may take, but if a couple has said A, B, C, D, think about it. At some point, you may realize that what you had opted probably was not the right. The marriage institution, we have put another stone in the effort that has been put forward for it, domestic violence. This book is the answer. Titled Insights into Passionate Marriage. It's a very interesting book that is cognizant of our culture, cognizant of modernity. It's the best book. It speaks. It speaks. It's a living document that breathes in and out. So I encourage Ugandans, I encourage institutions, I encourage every person, really, let's put efforts in reading this book. Our questions of addressing the marriage institution, revitalizing the marriage institution will be answered.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Briefly, as we wind up, your last remarks.
I thank the opportunity given to us by Family TV. I thank the different stakeholders within our community. Boosting our family pride in a society is not one's responsibility.
Yes.
It takes us all, especially where we are living. Workplaces where employers and employees do engage. Then also in the learning institutions. I wish at the university where most young adults are graduating and soon engaging in this line of marriage, could be there some course units. I embraced it at UCU, Uganda Christian University, where I attended my bachelor's degree in human resource and management. They are really fundamental courses they used to set up. I also urge that some of these public universities embrace that, preaching the word of God, bring out a course unit relating to God is very, very fundamental. It really neutralizes and calms someone's behavior and intentions. Then also, I went up by saying that all as a society, we need to push hand in hand. I encourage the society to have a copy of this. It's because of the limited finance that this book was printed in English. But we would like also, if there's a further engagement, we can really print this book in our local languages and really people learn and really understand what we're talking about.
Right.
This book is written based on our society, content, and the people who authored it have been engaged in different scenarios of family issues. We are not directly attached to family and child family protection of police, but still, where a client comes when he has family issues, they have been addressing to us. When someone finds out on different duties, even on the streets when we are cabin in crowd control, someone, excuse me, I found I have such a problem in family, how can I go about it? So really, I thank Uganda Police Force that have given us a platform, creating a full unit of curbing violence in regard to building families.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yes. That is Police Constable Fredrick Wakolera and also here Sergeant Mwanga Stephen. I also saw a rally there.
Yeah.
Okay. A rally. Well, thank you so much. I hope you've made this discussion very insightful to you there, the viewer. Please make use of the information that has been given. It is free information. You can go to YouTube, get that link, keep listening. There are lots of insights that have been shared here. Well, we cannot go past this. My name is Luke Majumba Naitwe, and I want to wish you a lovely day ahead. Please stay safe.
Issues at Hand, powered by